It's going to be a very interesting offseason with the cap likely going to be lower for all teams, and also the fact that there aren't really many stars that will be available to switch teams this summer. However, there are some key players that can and will likely switch teams this offseason, whether it be that they want a bigger role or a contract with a new team. So, I thought it would be fun to go over which NBA free agents will change teams this offseason, and I'll be going over high impact players in this video and not necessarily all the players who are including end of bench or rotation guys. And very quickly before we get into it, if you want to see more interesting NBA content just like this, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, as I really do appreciate all of your guys' support and it really does go a long way into helping the channel grow. So first up, I have Nerlens Noel to the Golden State Warriors, signing a 2-year, $10 million contract with a player option in the second year. Noel has become one of the most underrated players in the NBA, and he has thrived this season as a backup to Steven Adams. Noel has proved that he can contribute efficient scoring and incredible defense in his cap minutes with the Thunder, and he'll likely look to get a starting role to showcase his skills on a new team. The Warriors should be able to give him this chance, and I think Noel will take a bit of a discount this offseason to play for a championship contender next season, and also boost his stock up where more teams will have more cap space in the following summer. I think Noel will be a great fit with the Warriors as an excellent rim protector, and the pick and rolls between him and Curry will be very hard to stop. So next up, I have Kyle Korver to the Los Angeles Lakers on a veteran's minimum contract. So I think Kyle Korver will be a solid fit with the Lakers as a sharpshooter who will play in certain situations. He likely won't be a consistent rotation player anymore as he's old by NBA standards, but he can still be useful when the Lakers need some quick floor spacing and shooting off the bench. He already has great chemistry with LeBron, and he should also be a great locker room presence for the team. Next up, I have Hassan Whiteside to the Los Angeles Clippers on a 2-year contract. So the Blazers are going to be getting back Nurkic and Collins very soon, and that doesn't leave a lot of minutes for Whiteside at center. While Whiteside has been pretty good this season for the Blazers and has put up some big numbers, Nurkic is a much more impactful player for Portland even if he doesn't put up as gaudy numbers as Whiteside. I think Whiteside will have trouble securing another big contract this offseason with not many teams having a lot of cap space, and I think he'll settle for a relatively small and short-term contract to be the starting center for the Clippers. He will be great as a rim protector and finisher, and he could secure a much bigger contract next season if he proves to play very well for a championship level team. Now I have Jeremy Grant to the Phoenix Suns on a 3-year, $45 million contract. The Suns have a lot of cap space heading into the summer, and they can really solidify their starting lineup by signing Grant. He has played really well this season for the Nuggets and is one of the most versatile defenders in the NBA. He's an efficient scorer who can score both inside and out, and he would be a great fit as a stretch 4 for the Suns. A starting lineup of Rubio, Booker, Oubre, Grant, and Ayton would be a very well-rounded lineup that would definitely be a playoff contender next season in the West. Next up, I have Goran Dragic to the Los Angeles Lakers on a short-term, 2-year contract. I think Dragic will leave the Heat for a potential starting point guard role with the Lakers, as he was sent to the bench this season with the Heat, and while he has played well, I think it's pretty fair to assume that he would rather be starting for a championship level team. Dragic would provide LA with a scoring and playmaking guard who can play both alongside LeBron or lead the second unit offense, and overall, I think he would be a great fit for the Lakers that they can potentially sign for cheap if he wants to take a discount to start for a contender. Now this is going to be a prediction I changed from one of my previous videos, but now I have Danilo Galinari to the Miami Heat. The Heat have a lot of cap space this summer, but they aren't trying to sign anyone to a long-term deal this offseason given that they have been rumored to make a run at Giannis next summer. I think they'll offer Galinari a bloated 2-year, $40 million contract with a team option in the second year, and Danilo will be a nice backup option for Miami if Giannis doesn't sign with them next offseason. Galinari will be terrific for the Heat, as he will make their offense even more dynamic with an efficient scorer who can get a bucket from anywhere on the floor. Now I have Tristan Thompson to the Houston Rockets on a 2-year deal. I think Houston will really go after Thompson after losing Capella, as they do need a legitimate big man. They just cannot keep playing Tucker at the 5 as he gets older and his body will keep getting worn down even more, and Thompson is a perfect, cheap starting center they could definitely use. He's solid as a finisher around the rim and also a good rim protector, and I think he would really provide the Rockets with an impact starting center who can play around 25 minutes per game, and also allow Houston to rest Tucker for late game, small ball situations. Now moving back to the East, I finally Portis to the Atlanta Hawks on a 1-year, $8 million contract. He'll provide a solid backup 4 or 5 for the Hawks who can score quickly and get a bucket at almost any time. I do not expect the Knicks to accept this team option, and Portis will be forced to take a discount on this contract as no one will likely offer him anything upwards of $10 million a year, given his play this season. But I do think the Hawks do have a lot of cap space and they'll offer him a 1-year contract as somewhat of an audition role to be a future backup for the team. Next up, I have DeMarcus Cousins to the Washington Wizards on a 1-year, veterans minimum contract. So he's another player who I changed from one of my previous videos, and now I actually think Cousins will sign a deal with the Wizards. It has been reported that Wall has been recruiting Cousins to play with Washington, and the Wizards would definitely give Cousins the opportunity to be the starting center. A big three of Beal, a healthy Wall, and Cousins could be a solid playoff team in the East that would definitely be fun to watch, though I don't think they would be championship contenders. Next up, I have Chris Dunn to the Atlanta Hawks on a 3-year, $42 million contract. I think the Hawks will overpay for Dunn, as they do need a perimeter defender to pair next to Trae Young in certain matchups. Dunn has quietly become one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA, though he hasn't developed his offensive game to anywhere near what the Bulls were expecting him to be when they traded for him. I just can't see the Bulls matching a bloated contract worth over 8 figures yearly, and the Hawks will be able to get a solid backup for Young who can also play alongside him as well. Next up, I have Montrezl Harrell to the Charlotte Hornets on a 4-year, $84 million contract. I think it's going to be hard for the Clippers to re-sign Harrell this offseason, as while he has been great for the Clippers off the bench, his defensive limitations are pretty glaring at center. He'll likely command a huge contract by a team like the Hornets, who need a scoring 5 much more than the Clippers, and I think they'll offer Harrell a contract that the Clippers just cannot afford to match. Harrell will be huge for the Hornets as a scoring 5 that they desperately need off their bench, and he'll likely come off the bench behind Cody Zeller but see the majority of the minutes at the 5. I think Harrell would thrive with Charlotte, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see how his contract situation plays out. Next up, I have Jay Crowder signing a 1-year deal with the New York Knicks. I think Crowder will be a solid placeholder for the Knicks as they continue to rebuild, and he can also be a solid trade bait piece for a contender or playoff team in the next year's trade deadline. I think he'll likely sign one of those 1-year bloated deals that the Knicks had done last offseason, and I think it will be a fair deal for both sides. And finally, I have Dario Saric to the Oklahoma City Thunder on a 2-year, $12 million contract with a player option in the second year. Saric has definitely struggled since his rookie season with the Sixers, and he's not going to get a huge contract that he was likely looking for. I think he'll take a chance at potentially being the starting 4 for the Thunder as a replacement for Danilo Galinari, and if he plays well, he could definitely get a bigger contract in the following offseason. He should be set up for success playing next to guys like Chris Paul who will set him up for easy baskets, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will command most of the defensive attention. This could be a make or break year for Saric, and if he does not perform well, I'm not sure if he'll ever get another chance to be a consistent starter for an NBA team. And also for a quick note, some guys I left out, I think DeRozan may accept his player option and just finish out his contract with the Spurs. Davis Bertans will re-sign with the Wizards given that Washington didn't trade him at the trade deadline. And let me know if I'm missing anyone else in the comments, and also let me know your predictions as well. But that will be a wrap. Thank you guys all for watching, and if you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more interesting NBA content just like this, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and also be sure to turn on post notifications so you can stay updated when my newest video will be coming out. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram and hit me if you want to talk about basketball or business. Just drop a comment down below on my photo or DM me and I'll definitely try to get back to most of you guys there. Drop a comment down below, as I said before, on your predictions on which free agents will change teams. Did I miss anyone, or do you guys have any different predictions? Let me know as I do our comments, and I'm definitely interested to see what you guys have to say here as well. So without that being said, once again, thank you guys all for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Peace.